Yo, what is up guys, this is Heiko. Today I want to bring you a video about new druid build, new for me then. I haven't tried it out yet in the past like preseason, but I'm trying out the low life bulwark because I did get lucky on my drops of like my pants, necklace, the boots, so I actually have some decent damage reduction against injured enemies. Yeah, I want to show you the results of it, how it looks. Because I didn't try it out earlier because I watched some videos and didn't like the slow-paced combat. But after doing some research and doing some testing, I actually found out a build that I kind of like. I wouldn't say it's better than my Tornado Nature's Fury build, but it's not bad. It's actually really tanky, and you're definitely like more survivable than Tornado. Not in all circumstances, I would say. In some circumstances against like ranged or poison enemies, I would say Tornado will be better because you don't have to actually stay like in close range against them. So both have like benefits and like, so I'm just gonna show you the recording right now at the same time. Thing how I do it usually, so you guys can actually see the real foot play. And as you can see, the damage is pretty nice. It's you see huge numbers. Of course, the bad thing is you have to stay like in close range against those enemies. That might be dangerous in some situations. But also the good part of this build is it's always you're always unstoppable, so the mobs can't really CC you. But anyways, like to track the theory of this build is you want to hit like your HP. You want to make sure it's like always below 35%, so you get like the injured status. And, we want to rely on the barrier that Earthen Bullwark gives us. And then you want to stack up damage DR, damage reduction against injured. That's like the most important part. And I think you want to be like at least 75%. I think I'm around 80%. With two of my pieces maxed out on the DR versus injured. That's why I want to try it out. It looks pretty solid. As you can see, this T100 dungeon, it's not doing not doing any damage to us. And I would say this build will be stronger than like the patch 1.11 hits. The reason of it is if you look at the patch notes, they are going to increase. Oh, okay. Yeah, you see that's what I meant with the poison. The poison is gonna like the dot damage, the DOT damage is like tickling your HP, and that's pretty hard for this build to actually move around that. Anyway, it's you just have to be careful with that. You should be fine. But yeah, what I was saying about the buff is I think after on 1.11 this build will be stronger, and the reason of it is because they're going to buff HP pools of the bosses. You guys, if you just saw that damage, that's single target damage is insane, just crazy. Yeah, so what I was saying, what I was talking about is the buffs on the bosses. So they are going to increase like a lot of percentage of bosses based on the tier of the Nightmare dungeon, based off the monster level. So whenever you have that going on, it's really nice for this build, because this build we're pretty much relying on the Earthen Bullwark, and the Earthen Bullwark is scaling with the monster HP. So that's like something that is just gonna boost us up. So as you can see, I just killed the boss in like what, 2 seconds. My tornado, it will take like maybe 30 seconds, 40 seconds. So like the boss fight is going to be much faster if you compare this build to the tornado. But like the overall dungeon clearing speed, of course, I would say the tornado is much faster. But this build is also tankier, so it has its benefit. But after the buff, if you want to focus on bosses, I would say this build is better. If you want to just focus on nightmare dungeons that doesn't have a boss, like let's say Uro's Cave, Mercy's Reach, Cerberus Lair has one, but anyways, like the ones that doesn't have like a boss, then I think Tornado is better. If it's like smaller maps and like with a boss, I think Earthen Bullwark is actually pretty solid, just because of the damage it does. So yeah, both are viable and both can clear like T100 dungeons pretty easily. And yeah, let's go over the build I made here. So for the helmet, we actually don't need any we don't need the Tempest Roar. The only unique we're going to be using is the staff. So for the helmet, you want CDR, basic skill attack speed, barrier generation, really important. And then the last stat, so if you're going for low life Bulwark, you shouldn't go for max HP, max life, because that's not that necessary. So I actually have this is like not perfect, but if you're going for low life, you should get like total armor or all stats on this on the last bar. So if you're going for like the normal Bulwark build, where you just have 100% like max life, then you can go for max HP, which is pretty nice. And I think going for like the full HP build, it's also it's good enough like for the T100 Nightmare Dungeon right now, because I think the damage versus injured is pretty much an overkill. For the aspect, you just want basic skill grants 20% damage reduction. Yeah, for the chest, I didn't change anything to my chest. It's still like all DR and then disobedience. And then I have for the gloves, I actually did get a new glove. What you want here is you don't want any spell on it, because Earthen Bullwark doesn't skill when you level it up. It only not on damage. It only skills in like the barrier. So yeah, so the chest is pretty much the same. The gloves, I changed it to Earth skills damage, critical strike chance, attack speed, and lucky hit chance. Yeah, maybe you can change the lucky hit chance to like any DPS, any damage sort of stats, like willpower is also possible, because I don't think lucky hit chance is important for us, and especially not when we are using Barber, of course. For the aspect, you want Earth skills deal damage for more critical strike damage to crowd control enemies. For the pants, this is gonna be your first important part if you're going for low life, and that's going to be the damage reduction while injured. And then the other three just get 3 other DRs. The damage reduction from distant enemies was actually not the best one. I would wanted to have like the DR against fortified, but I couldn't get it. I spent a lot of gold, but I couldn't get it. And then your second important piece is oh yeah, sorry, for the pants you also want aspect Earthen Bullwark increased by 6 seconds. So because this is our main damage and our defensive spell. And then you have for the boots, yeah, it's pretty similar. The most important stat is of course movement speed and damage reduction while injured. And our only unique is this prone staff. It doesn't really matter what kind of stats you have on it. I think the most important part is maybe like the ranks of class that you get. So try to get that as high as possible. I don't think for the other stats really matter. Also, the weapon power doesn't matter. It doesn't scale with our damage, as we use our Earthen Bullwark to do actually the main damage. And then we have for the necklace, the third piece where we can get like damage reduction while injured. So what you should get is like CDR and Venom, and then 2 times DR, and one of the DR has to be DR against injured. The other one, you can be flexible. It can be close, fortified, poisoned. And then for the aspect, you want, of course, the most important one, Nature's Fury key passive. This is basically to reduce the CD of Earthen Bullwark. So every time this procs, this will get a 7-second CD reduction. And since we are using the staff, it has a chance to actually proc twice, because our claw is also casting Storm Strike. So you want to have the Earthen Bulwark below 14 seconds of CD. If you have that, you can also replace a CDR for something else, but you want to try to hit around 14 seconds of CDR. For the heart, we want to use Barber, of course. And then for the ring, we want crit chance, barrier generation, vulnerable damage, and crit damage. That's preferably the best what we want. But this one is not perfect. This one is much better. So you have critical strike chance, barrier generation, vulnerable damage, and critical strike damage with werewolf skills. But you actually want just the normal critical strike damage. For the aspects, you want casting a storm skill grants you earth skill 40% critical strike damage, and then casting an earth skill increases the critical strike chance of storm skills by 12%. And that's because of Nature's Fury passive. We swap between the storm and earth skills over and over. And then here you want basic skills grant attack speed. I did this from the codex. I didn't have one that actually was maxed out, I think. I might have, but maybe I forgot about that. For the spirit boons, we want the one DR against elites, and then we want crit chance and attack speed. And then we want for pack leader. Critical strikes have up to 20% to reset your cooldowns of your companion skill, so it can reset poison creeper. And this provides also DR, because we have a lot of DR against poisoned. And then for the last one, always calm before the storm to reduce the CDR of your ultimate. So for the ultimate, I went for Cataclysm because I don't know, it feels more fun, and I'm also using the hearts to pull enemies towards you. And that only works if you have an ultimate skill active. Cataclysm is actually really nice because it's active for 12 seconds, and you can also increase that by the passive in our skill tree. And for the heart of the second ring, you actually want the blue one that gives you like 20% of DR. So I would say this is the best combination. You could also swap this one for the orange one, where you get critical strike damage. So for the skill tree, we have here Storm Strike, enhancing it to Fierce Storm Strike, and then Claw, getting it to Wild Claw. So yeah, if you have the staff, you only have to put 1 point in it, and you will get level 10 Claw. And then here we are getting Predatory Instinct, level 3, to get some more critical strike chance. Earthen Bullwark, you max that out, and you go to Innate Earthen Bullwark, which will explode based on your barrier bonuses. So this is again a very important thing, is that you need to make sure that your barrier generation is at least like 60%, 58% I believe. So when you max out Earthen Bulwark, this scales with barrier bonus, and I think the max you can get out of your HP is 58%. So you need to make sure that you get at least 58% of barrier bonus into your gear. You can get it on your chest, but I would just suggest to get on the head and get on 2 rings. Then you should get 60%. Otherwise, if you're still missing one, you can use the diamond gems that not the diamond or the white. I think the white gems give barrier bonus to boost this up as well. So just check on your own gear how much you're missing, and you can compensate with some gems. Then we're going to the Cyclone Armor for the 30% DR, of course. I'm not using Bloodhound because I'm the low life Bulwark, and this will heal me. But if you're going for the full life build, you can just go for the Bloodhound that gives you attack speed, which is also very nice. And here we want to get the 15% DR. Poison Creeper, you want to have Brutal Poison Creeper. That's increasing your critical hit chances. Hurricane, of course, for the 20% DR. And here you want to max out all three of them: Crushing Earth, Stone Guard, Safeguard, because those all apply for the Earthen Bullwark, where you get increased damage, where you get Fortify, and where you get once more Fortify. And then this you want Neurotoxin, Toxic Claws, and then you max out Venom. Nothing really special. Here you want Defiance, you want Natural Disaster, and you want Resonance. And then I picked Cataclysm because I really find this is more enjoying to actually play with it. So yeah, it's also really nice because it has 12 seconds, last 12 seconds. So for the 12 seconds, we can profit from the heart that pulls mobs towards us. So we actually don't have to chase after the mobs. And it also does pretty decent damage, and it also applies vulnerable, so it's pretty nice. And then you want to have quick shift and heightened senses. And of course, for passive, we're using Nature's Fury, so it's basically we're using Claw. And while using Claw, it will also proc Storm Strike. But that's because we have the staff, so that's a guaranteed one. And when you're doing that, it will the Nature's Fury aspect will reduce the cooldown of our Earthen Bullwark. So basically, what you're doing is you're using all your DR spells, all your like defensive spells. You go in, and then you just spam Claw, and then spam Earthen Bullwark whenever it's off CD. That's pretty much how you play it. For the Paragon board, I took this Paragon board from I think, what is his name? Shade of Spades. I will link his Paragon board off the video description below, but I think this is by far the best one. I didn't do any, like, I think a little bit, but I didn't do much modifications on this one because I think his board is, yeah, nearly perfect. But I also have a link on my full build in the video description. Let's go over it really quick. So we have Territory here. I mainly want to get this because of the 10% DR versus close, because we are always in close range against the mob. So that's actually really important, because compared to the Tornado build, we are also like mid-range when we are fighting mobs, but this build you're always like in melee range against the mobs, so it will help. And then we go to the board where the Height of Malice is at, and then you want to apply here Fang and Claw. Again, I think this is not much different, but then you have like the poison against damage against poison and DR against poison, which is really nice. And then we go to the right, which we have the Thunderstruck board, and we use here Shapeshifter, and that's really nice because we were getting 20% skill damage, the 20% chance to cause skill damage to critically strike, which is really nice because we were always shapeshifting. And then when we go to the top, we are getting here to the board of Inner Beast, and we get Protector, and this is basically a good replacement of Earthen Sky, because we are always having a barrier, so we profit from like the 10% DR from having a barrier much more than we will do with like Earthen Sky. I actually see that I missed one here. Oh, I see where it went wrong. So it should be like this. Sorry, it should be like. I think I missed somewhere like a point, but I have to check on that actually. I can do like this, yeah. And there we go. So, and then when we go to the right, we go to the board of Constricting Tendrils, and then we get Spirit here, which is really nice, critical strike damage. I had this also on my Tornado build, and I really like his board because I think he has the same view as I do on like Exploit. I'm not using Exploit like on my last video I posted. And when I looked at his board, he also didn't use Exploit. So I think we're both not valuing Exploit too much anymore after the nerfs. Then you go to the last board, Earthen Devastation, and then we will be using Undaunted, of course, one of the most OP boards for DPS. You get DR when you're fortified, and you get damage when you're fortified. We are always fortified, so it's, it just makes too much sense, and it's too good to skip over it. So yeah. So guys, that's pretty much it. That's pretty much what I have for this build. I will link the full build on the planner, on the D4 planner, in the video description below. Check it out, try it out, and let me know what you guys think about it. And don't forget to subscribe and give the video a like. I'll see you guys next time.